price of oil, the barrel price has gone down below $100, but gas prices remain over $4 a gallon nationally. Do you believe there's any merit to that argument that oil companies are not giving the brakes to consumers?
It just begins to go to show how they don't understand the industry. So yesterday in the Speaker's press conference, she made some remarkable statements. She said, Democrats have done a great job. We must take great pride in what we have done. We've got a lot to brag about. I just think they're so out of touch, even from that statement itself. A recent poll showed that the American consumer sentiment has shrunk for the 5th time in the past 6 months. That's nearly an 11-year low of all the great things they have done. Everywhere else Americans are spending money, they are paying the highest prices in living memory. And inflation, which is a tax on every single American, shows no signs of stopping. Now, just this week, the Federal Reserve Chair, Mr. Powell, said he expects inflation to stay high for months. You know, by the end of 2 years of President Biden's presidency, families will be losing more than $6,000 in buying power because of inflation. Last year, House Republicans, we warned reckless government spending would lead to higher prices. It wasn't just Republicans who warned them. Former Democrats in the administration warned them as well. We warned anti-energy policies would lead to higher gas prices. Democrats have responded with excuses and finger-pointing and unserious solutions, as you can see from the chart. Then they said the inflation was transitory. Remember that? And now it's Putin's fault. Now they want to blame the oil companies. You know, Americans aren't buying these excuses, but unfortunately they are paying for them. This incompetence extends beyond failures on the economy. Look at the horrible situation on our southern border. And this is something you really need to focus on. The thousands upon thousands of people who are entering here illegally. Now the proposal is to end Title 42. This is going to cause a gigantic influx, even greater than we've already seen. There's no plan by this administration. And the Democrats continue to block us at every opportunity to secure this border.
That the price of oil, the barrel price has gone down below $100, but gas prices remain over $4 a gallon nationally. Do you believe there's any merit to that argument that oil companies are not giving the brakes to consumers?
It just begins to go to show how they don't understand the industry. Things don't change overnight. You've got to produce the oil, you sell the oil, you have to refine the oil, and you pass it through. When the Democrats proposed, you first had the Democrats who led the party, Joe Biden, in his campaign for president, said he would eliminate the production of crude. You then had on the very first day when he got into office, ending a pipeline. So you add transportation to that. And when inflation goes up, if you can't move it by a pipeline, you got to put it in a truck, or you got to put it in a tanker if you bring it from somewhere else. That costs a lot more. You can't get things off the port, so they raised the price themselves. Secondly, when they called in all the CEOs, you know what their number one question was? Well, they pledged to produce less. So if they took the advice of why they were called in, why they had to swear in under oath, and the questioning from the majority party, will you promise to produce less like Europe? And where is Europe today? So now they want to turn around and blame them? When you shut in a well, you can't turn it right back on. It's not a light switch. When you go after and you hold a permit because you're building an LNG export plant, you're not going to go produce more, make the investment in until you have the ability to send it out. Well, they're sitting on them. There's no reason why. When you go after not a committee that you would think is an energy committee, but a financial services committee, and you ask the financial markets, will you pledge not to loan money to the energy industry? Then you don't have the capital. But what does the majority party turn around? Well, these leases are not being moved. Do you understand the market? You get a lease, it takes you 3 to 7 years to develop it. And there's no guarantee there's oil or gas underneath it. But then you go to your banker to try to get the capital to go, but the majority committee is going after your capital not to loan you the money. I've never seen anything like this. They made their platform to put oil industry out of business in America and increase the business of Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. They have sent letters, the Democrat Party, Schumer, the president, and begged OPEC to produce more. They have sent the oil out of the spur, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. American oil they sent out, but they never turned around and asked the American companies to produce more and produce more jobs. If the premise of what they care most about is the environment, they should embrace the American companies. American natural gas is 41% cleaner than Russian natural gas. It's their entire party that's been doing it. I live in California. I come from a district that should be very proud about the energy we produce. We're 1 or 2 in solar. We're in the top 4 in wind. We're number 1 in California when it comes to oil. We have hydro. We have all the above, what America would want. But when Gavin Newsom came into office, he's used his executive orders to shut down the ability to lease. And the one thing you have to understand, if you understand the industry, every day that you're pumping, you're depleting. So you have to do something to discover more. That takes investment. But they go after the capital where you can. You have to do something to get the core open. You either steam it, you frack it, but they've gone after those companies where you can't frack or others to try to put you out. We produce 89,000 barrels a day in California less because of Gavin Newsom, 20% decline. But you know who gained in all that? Because you still provided the oil, Putin. We now increased, you get 50,000 barrels a day from Russia instead of an American job with cleaner energy done in a more environmentally sound way because of policies of Democrats. And they turn around and see the price is high. We have warned them about this time and again based upon their policies. Last week I showed you the video where for every day Biden has been in office and every time he took an action that was going to harm the energy industry, we showed you the prediction of what would happen. Well, that day has come, and I'm sorry, they're out of excuses. Every action they've taken has put us in this place.